When we think about retiring in America, something isn't working anymore. Not emotionally, not politically, but mathematically. The old retirement math is work 30 to 40 years, save diligently, pay off the house, retire at 65, and live comfortably. But that math assumed stable costs. That math assumed healthcare would be manageable, and that housing would normalize, that inflation would calm down, and that your portfolio would quietly compound. But in the last few years, something has shifted. Groceries are still roughly 20 to 25% higher than pre-2020 levels. Auto insurance in many states is up 20 to 40%. Home insurance premiums have surged in large parts of the US. Healthcare premiums continue rising faster than general inflation. And property taxes in many counties are climbing. When you're working, you might get a raise, but when you're retired, there is no raise to adjust. And that's why more Americans are quietly asking a question that they never thought they would ask. What if retirement in America just doesn't work the way it used to? And if that's true, what are the options? The old retirement model is strained because the traditional model assumes that there's a 4% withdrawal rule. You have paid off home, there's Medicare at 65, Social Security at full retirement age, predictable living costs. But here's what has changed. Housing is no longer just a one-time purchase. Even if your house is paid off like ours, you still have insurance, which is rising, property taxes, which are rising, maintenance and utilities. Those don't disappear. So healthcare before Medicare, that's one of the biggest fears of early retirees. We're on ACA Silver Plan right now, and it works for us. But premiums, deductibles, and networks, it's a real factor. And inflation isn't evenly distributed. Even if CPI cools, insurance, housing, and healthcare often keep rising. And here's the quiet pressure point. If your retirement plan was built on 2015 cost assumptions, but you're living in 2026 pricing, your money stretches differently. That doesn't mean it's impossible. It means it requires adaptation. More retirees are exploring living abroad, either part-time or full-time. Not because they hate where they're at and not because they want to escape, but because their dollars stretch further. In many countries, rent can be dramatically lower. Fresh food costs less. Private healthcare can be significantly cheaper than in the US. And property taxes are lower or non-existent. Insurance costs are often lower. In some regions of Mexico or Portugal, parts of Central America, or even Southeast Asia, couples report living comfortably on $2,000 to $3,000 per month. Now, it's not universal, and that's not luxury in every location, and it does require trade-offs. But when someone runs their retirement numbers and sees that their portfolio lasts 25 years in the US or 40 years abroad, it gets their attention. And that's the math that people are reaching to. But here's the part that people don't talk about. Living abroad is not just a spreadsheet decision. It's emotional. When you move, you leave your kids, your grandkids, your friends, your routines, your language, your healthcare, and your comfort zone. You trade familiarity for affordability. You trade community for margin. And that trade is not small. Some people thrive on that adventure. Others feel isolated. Some love the simplicity, but others miss the conveniences. It's not just about saving money, it's about deciding what kind of life you want. Our approach is slow travel, not escape. This is where our plan fits in. We didn't sell everything, and we didn't cut ties. We didn't declare America broken. We love Nebraska, our home. We love our cycling community, and we love being close to our kids. But we also recognize that spending 12 months a year in the highest cost environment isn't the only option. So we're experimenting with slow travel. For 3 months, we'll be in the Caribbean. Time in places where housing is lower, where we cook more, we walk more, we spend differently, and we need less. Not because we're running from America, but because we're stretching our bridge account intentionally. We're living on our $400,000 brokerage account, so that's funding this early phase of our life. We have SGOV for stability, and we're using Vanguard and Berkshire for growth. Every dollar that we don't overspend extends our runway. And here's the subtle benefit. When you live slower, you often consume less, and that alone changes the math. The real question isn't, should I leave the US? The real question is, how flexible am I willing to be to protect my retirement? Because rigidity is expensive. If you must stay in the highest cost zip code, you must maintain peak consumption, and you must replicate your working lifestyle in retirement, your math tightens. And if you're flexible, the math softens. That doesn't mean that you need to move to another country. It might mean that you could be downsizing or doing part-time travel, maybe renting out a room, having seasonal living, or moving to a lower cost state. Flexibility is leverage. There's also something deeper here. It's the emotional side of money stretching. When prices rise faster than expected, it starts to create anxiety, even for people who have planned well. We retired at 53 and 55. We did the math carefully, but we still feel it. We feel it in the insurance renewals, food prices, and unexpected costs. You don't get a raise in retirement, so stretching your money isn't about fear, it's about sovereignty. It's about saying, I will adjust instead of a panic. Some people adjust by working longer, some by spending less, some by relocating, and some by combining strategies. Here's a simple way to think about it. Every retirement decision trades something for something. Living abroad might trade convenience for cost savings, community for margin, and comfort for adventure. Staying in the US might trade higher costs for emotional stability, familiar healthcare for higher premiums, and proximity to family to less runway. There's no free choice. If you take nothing else from this video, take this. The old retirement model assumes stability. The new retirement model requires flexibility. That doesn't mean panic, it means awareness. Run your numbers using today's costs, not yesterday's. Stress test healthcare, stress test your insurance, and stress test inflation. Then ask yourself, if my money doesn't stretch the way I thought, what levers do I have? Can I reduce? Can I relocate part-time? Can I slow travel? Can I downsize? Can I maybe work a little? Can I delay Social Security? And can I adjust my expectations? The goal isn't perfection. The goal is durability. We're not here to tell you that America is broken. We're not here to tell you to move overseas. And we're not here to sell you an escape fantasy. We're here to say this, that the retirement math is changing, and pretending that it isn't is more dangerous than adapting to it. And we're choosing a middle path. We're keeping our home, we're keeping our family, and we're keeping our roots. But we are also traveling part-time, stretching our money and learning what actually matters. Your version may look different, but if you're willing to question the old model and build one that fits your reality, your money can still work. It just might not look the way you thought it would, and that's okay. But here's something that we've learned on this journey, something even more uncomfortable than rising costs, that the biggest threat to retirement isn't necessarily inflation, it's desire. Because if your lifestyle requires constant consumption, constant upgrades, and constant stimulation, no country is cheap enough. So in our next video, we're going to talk about something that completely changed how we see retirement. The low desire lifestyle. It's not deprivation, it's not minimalism for social media, but a mindset shift that makes money stretch without feeling like sacrifice. And that conversation might matter even more than where you live. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.